Good day, Doctor. My name is Sun Jiwei and my group members' name is Ang Mei Ting, Ho Kai Ying, and Emily Ko Si-ying. And today we are going to present what we have researched, which is the relationship between the Instagram views and indicator of mental health in UUM. And I'm going to give an introduction about this research. For Instagram, this app has developed into a destination for discovering new trends and browsing various content, and it can be the source for connections for someone. On the other hand, it also can negatively impact mental health. So we will investigate the relationship between how individuals use Instagram and how it affects their mental health. For deeply research, we will analyze the motivations of using Instagram and identify social media behavior and psychology, and measures the mental health indicator among Instagram user in UUM. And we were using the Google Form survey to collect data and compute in mean, mood, interquartile range, and transfer to the blogspot and bar chart.
Here is the description of the project. The target sample is UUM student. The size respondent is 50 people. The demography is student who age 17 to 32, and the reason for choosing this location is because easy access to the target sample and familiarity with the population.
And now we will discuss about the pre-processing result.
Now I want to discuss about part B, which is the motivations of using Instagram. The statement that I have chosen for data analysis is connecting with friends and family. The left-hand side shows the calculations part of connecting with friends and family data, and the right-hand side shows the values required to construct a box plot. The first quarter is 4, the second quarter is 4, and the third quarter is 5. The minimum value is 1 and the maximum value is 5. A box plot will be created using the values obtained. Based on the box plot, the diagram shows the outlier as the value of 1 and 2 represented by strongly disagree and disagree. The main range of values lie between 2.5 and 6.5. Any data point falling outside this range is considered an outlier.
Part C is about social media behavior and psychology. For example, question 1 asks, how frequent do you post content on Instagram? For the first, second, and third quarter for this question is 3, 4, and 4, while the minimum and maximum is 1 and 5. The interquartile range is 1, as the third quarter, which is 4, minus the first quarter, which is 3. When we have the first quarter as 3 and the interquartile range as 1, we will have our lower limit as 1.5. While we have third quarter as 4 and interquartile range as 1, we will have our upper limit as 5.5.
This box plot was chosen from Part D question 1. Here is a summary of the key statistics we calculated for our dataset. The dataset ranged from 1 to 5, with the first quartile at 3, the second quartile and the third quartile at 4. The interquartile range IQR is 1, the lower limit is 1.5, and the upper limit is 5.5. Any data points below 1.5 or above 5.5 are considered potential outliers. We identify one potential outlier at 1, as shown in the box plot.
Next, we will explain our analysis result in this research.
Next is the part of analyzing result. The table presents the descriptive analyzing data for response to the statement, which is connecting with friends and family. The data is based on a survey conducted among a sample of 50 participants. The table includes the frequency, cumulative frequency, percentage, mean, mode, median, and standard deviations. We have performed our data in 3 forms, which is bar chart, histogram, and pie chart. From the chart above, it shows that the largest percentage of respondents is 28%, which is 56% chose agree with the statement. The least percentage of respondents is 1%, which is 2% chose strongly disagree and undefined. Majority respondents chose agree because they are able to connect or video call with their friends and family to see what they are doing and see their daily life instead of just reading their story or looking at the photo. The histogram shows the most respondents rate the statement agree and strongly agree, result in a left scale distribution with more data points on the higher end of the scale, supporting the period of positive response. Below are the following steps to find the confidence level. We assume that the confidence level is 95%. We can be 95% confident that the mean of the statement among the sample fell between 3.8179 and 4.3421. The mode being 4 and the confidence interval containing 4 implies that agree is the most chosen response category, and we are confident that it represents the most prevalent opinions among the sample.
For Part C, which is social media behavior and psychology, we have a frequency of 2, 7, 11, 20, and also 10 for never, really, sometimes, somewhat frequently, and very frequently. The percentage is 4, 14, 22, 40, and also 20 consequently. From the frequency table, we can calculate that we have a mean of 3.58, a mode of 4, median of 4, and standard deviation of 1.0897. The bar chart shows somewhat frequency is the majority with a frequency of 20, and never is the minority with a frequency of 2. The pie chart shows the percentage of somewhat frequently is 40%, and never is 4%. For the histogram, the majority of somewhat frequently causes the curve to be right scaled. We assume that confidence level is 95%. With the mean and standard deviation given, the sample falls between 3.2702 and 3.8898. Although the mood indicates that agree, which is score of 4, was the most common response, the confidence interval suggests the true sample mean is slightly lower and does not include the value of 4 with 95% confidence.
For Part D question 1, we make a calculation table that includes frequency, cumulative frequency, percentage, mean, mood, median, and standard deviation. The calculated mean is 3.72, the mood and the median is 4, the calculated standard deviation is 1.0506. The bar chart shows agree as the majority response with a frequency of 23 people and strongly disagree as the minority with a frequency of 2 people. Pie chart display 46% agree and 4% strongly disagree. The histogram shows that most respondents rate the statement agree and strongly agree, resulting in a left skew distribution. Calculated the confidence interval with 95% confidence and the mean falls between 3.4214 and 4.0186. The fact that the mood is 4 and the confidence interval contains 4 implies that agree is the most chosen response category, and we are confident that it represents the most prevalent opinion among the sample.
After that, we will discuss about the hypothesis testing.
For hypothesis testing 1, we conducted a 1 mean t-test on the age group of respondents. The null hypothesis is that the mean age of respondents is 24 years old, while the alternative hypothesis is that the mean age of respondents is different from 24 years old. With a t-value of negative 0.2813 and critical points and negative 2.010 and positive 2.010, the t-value falls within the non-rejection region. Thus, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, at the 5% significance level, we conclude that the mean age of respondents is 24 years old.
Next is about hypothesis testing. In this case, we have selected question 1, which is, do you agree that the motivations of using Instagram is connecting with friends and family? Hence, we will use the formula which involve the mean, standard deviations, average, selected agree, and sample size to perform our hypothesis testing. There is a sample of 50 students and obtain a value of 4.08 of mean, and the standard deviation is 0.922286. The first step of finding the hypothesis testing is state the null and alternative hypothesis. In this case, the null hypothesis is equal to 4 and the alternative hypothesis is different from 4. Step 2. Decide the significance level. At here, we use 5% of the significance level. Step 3. Compute the value of the test statistic. Compute the test statistic and we get the t-value which is 0.615. Step 4. Critical value approach. The sign different in alternative hypothesis indicate that the test is two-tier. First, we need to find the area of each tier, which is 0.05 multiplied by 2, and we get the area which is 0.025. The formula degree of freedom df is n-1, which is 50 minus 1 equals to 49. Based on table T, we can get the critical value of T, which is negative 2.010 and 2.010. Step 5. Critical value approach. The value of the test statistic T equals to 0.615. It falls between the two critical points which are negative 2.010 and positive 2.010. Therefore, null hypothesis is at the non-rejection area, so fail to reject null hypothesis. Step 6, as it is the last step, to interpret the result of the hypothesis test. At here, we can look at the graph, and the interpretation is at the 5% significance level. The data provides sufficient evidence to conclude that the means of choosing the motivations of using Instagram is connecting with friends and family is equal to 4.
Next, we will proceed with the third hypothesis testing to explore the social media behavior and psychology in how often do you check your likes and share after posting something. For this analysis, we will formulate our non-hypothesis in first step as Instagram user at UUM who selected some time to check their likes and share after posting something is equal to 3. Meanwhile, alternative hypothesis has said that Instagram user at UUM who selected some time to check their likes and share after posting something is different from 3. After that, we will set 5% as our significance level. And then we will compute the test statistic by using the sample of mean and standard deviation, and we will get the t-value is 5.75. After that, we will using the table of t to get the critical value of t, which is 2.010. And based on our hypothesis testing result in step 3, we observe that the test statistic value of 5.75 exceeds the critical value of 2.010, and it falls in the rejection region. As a result, we had a sufficient evidence to reject the non-hypothesis and conclude that the mean of selected some time to check their likes and share after posting something is different from 3. In conclusion, we found that approximately 56% respondents are agree that their primary motivations for using Instagram was to connect with friends and family. And in social media behavior and psychology sections, respondents mentioned that they somewhat frequently comparing themselves to others on Instagram and expressing fear of missing out when viewing other posts. However, in hypothesis testing, motivations for using the platform might have varying impact on mental well-being, while overall social media behavior and psychology might not be significantly associated with mental health outcomes. Thus, it is essential to use Instagram wisely and be mindful of its potential impact on mental well-being. That's all for my group. Thank you.